All right, good morning, everybody. Yesterday you were asked to focus on scene one in Macbeth, and I do want to go over some notes for scene two specifically. So if you click on this, it of course is a copy of my notes. But in scene one, just to review, we have the witches, we have the whole supernatural opening with the thunder and this kind of foreboding weather. And then at the end of their little riddle, they say, fair is foul and foul is fair. And what essentially that means is what is good for one person is bad for another. And so, for example, with the Thane of Cawdor, right? It's good for Macbeth, but bad for the Thane of Cawdor, right? Because he's going to be executed. So we have in scene two the King of Scotland, and that is Duncan. Malcolm is his son, and it's important to think about that, especially when we talked a little bit about Tanistry, right? So even though Duncan is the king, doesn't necessarily mean Malcolm will be king, right? Because when they talk about the whole Tanis, it's about who's next qualified to take over. Scene two begins at the beginning of a battle, or at the end of a battle, if you will. Duncan and Malcolm are talking, and they are informed about what's happening on the field by the captain. And at one point, the captain mentions, this is a bloody battle. We're practically losing. And Duncan asks the captain, were they dismayed? Were Macbeth and Banquo dismayed at the sight of all these people coming to charge them? And the captain is like, yeah, they were dismayed. Just, as sparrows, eagles, or the hare, the lion, right? Is the rabbit dismayed when the lion's coming to eat him? No, he's not dismayed, right? Hello, they're scared beyond belief. So obviously that's a little bit of sarcasm for you. Shakespeare has a lot of those little play on words throughout each of the different scenes, and sometimes there's a little bit of comedic humor, typically by like supplemental characters. And so in this respect, this was kind of like a little nod towards humor. At this point, though, the captain does discuss all of Macbeth's heroic acts and efforts, and Duncan decides that the Thane of Cawdor has essentially committed treason, right? He's disloyal, he's a coward, all these other things, and so he will be executed. And for Macbeth's valor and loyalty and bravery, he will be now given the title of Thane of Cawdor. So now this means that Macbeth is a noble. He has a title, and that's really important going forward. Ultimately, one of the biggest motifs throughout this entire play is appearance versus reality. So how are certain situations manipulated? So how does Macbeth earning this new title, was that truly as a result of his bravery, or was it something he knew would get him a title, kind of thing? And so be mindful of each of these situations throughout the play, right? And think about this idea of what's good is what is good for one person is bad for another, and figure out all of those different places in which that's taking place, because that is one of those recursive themes. So for today, after you've read scene 2 and 3, go ahead and click on this discussion, and in using the create tab in a complete sentence, I would like for you to identify which side won the war, the rebels or King Duncan. That's all you need to do for today. And then just make sure that you've taken notes, especially on scenes 1 through 3 for tomorrow, because you do have a short quiz to complete. Okay, and it also will encompass quite a few of the notes that we've been talking about the last couple of days. All right. All right, guys, have a great Thursday, and we'll see you guys on Zoom later. Take care.